In this book you will gain a guide to navigating the complexities of the contemporary world. Consider life through the lens of our ancestors in a bygone era. Picture a wilderness where resources are scarce, dangers abound, and the weather can change in an instant. Hidden predators lurk in the grass, and threats loom everywhere. A single misstep or lapse in attention could lead to dire consequences, a matter of survival. In this environment, the brain evolved as a crucial tool for negotiating the challenges of hunting, gathering, and avoiding threats like saber-toothed tigers. Fast forward to the present day. Abundant food is readily available, and we reside in protected cities shielded from the elements. The once existent saber-toothed tigers are no more. Yet, we retain the same evolutionary tool, our brains, honed over millennia to navigate a reality we can now only envision. In contrast to our ancestors, today offers the luxury of indulging in fantasies and daydreams. We can lower our guard, and our surroundings are unlikely to pose fatal risks. Presently, the predominant threats are interpersonal and psychological, originating from other people rather than predatory animals. These contemporary dangers are more nuanced than those of the past. It's conceivable to overlook or deny their existence, to become detached from reality and embrace naivety. However, the risks persist, and neglecting them comes with consequences. The objective of these insights is to immerse you in the current reality we inhabit. Let's delve into The Daily Laws by Robert Greene and swiftly explore what it entails. January to begin with, let's address why it's named The Daily Laws. Robert Greene has organized his content in the fashion of a calendar, with 12 sections corresponding to each month of the year. For every day within a month, there's a nugget of advice, termed by Greene as laws. Hence, the title signifies a law for each day, the daily laws. We'll delve into each month, dissecting the most significant laws. And just a heads up, the initial 3 discussions aren't primarily focused on immersing you in today's interpersonal challenges. But worry not, we'll get there. Ready to commence? Let's start at the inception, January. And if you happen to be reading this outside of January, no need to fret. Consider it the January of your journey, the starting point, the trailhead. The initial segment of this journey revolves around mastery. The primary step in that journey is pinpointing your life task. Mastery itself will be the focal point in the 3rd discussion. For this month, there's a pivotal law: rediscover your childhood passions and discern your life task. How do you identify your life task? Perhaps it's more apt to view it not as a scavenger hunt, a quest for something external, but as an archaeological excavation, a revelation of something within you. Robert Greene's life task narrative serves as a perfect illustration. During his childhood, Greene knew his aspiration, a love for words and a desire to be a writer, perhaps a novelist. However, as he progressed through high school, college, and graduation, practicalities intervened. He still cherished words, both reading and writing, but sustaining a livelihood as a novelist seemed impractical. Thus, he opted for a career in journalism. This career choice didn't endure. A few years later, an editor advised him to change professions, deeming him unsuitable for the role. While devastated, Greene acknowledged the editor's correctness. His love for words and writing persisted, but journalism wasn't his true calling. Unbeknownst to him at the time, he was a different kind of writer. This realization initiated an extensive period of exploration. He traversed Europe, engaging in various jobs: construction, English teaching, hotel receptionist, while consistently reading and writing. Returning to Los Angeles, he continued this pattern of odd jobs and constant writing. By the age of 36, he had cycled through approximately 60 jobs since leaving journalism. From an external standpoint, he appeared adrift, disconnected, experiencing bouts of self-doubt and depression. Yet, an inner force prevented him from feeling entirely lost. When the opportune moment arrived in Italy, he found himself pitching an idea to a book producer, an idea that would later materialize into the 48 Laws of Power. All the reading and absorbed ideas coalesced into a compelling pitch: leading to a successful book deal and publication. The essence here is this: Greene, from a young age, had an innate understanding of his life task, to write. Despite false starts and seemingly aimless wandering, he eventually arrived at his life task. If he hadn't heeded that inner voice, if he had ignored the urge to write, his life task might have remained unrealized. So, what's your life task? A good starting point is your childhood. What were you passionate about? What activities did you genuinely love? If you can't recall, seek input from someone who can, like a parent, grandparent, or family friend. Even if you're uncertain at this moment, your life task awaits discovery. February is the month dedicated to apprenticeship. If there were only one law for February, it would likely be this: the apprenticeship phase is unavoidable. To progress to the subsequent stage, mastery, skipping the apprenticeship phase is not an option. Consider anyone you regard as a master, whether it's Leonardo da Vinci, Bruce Lee, or even Robert Greene. Almost invariably, there was a prolonged period of apprenticeship preceding their mastery. Geniuses do not emerge fully developed. In Greene's case, he engaged in extensive reading and writing before publishing his first book. Take Napoleon, renowned for his seemingly supernatural military prowess. A cursory glance at a map or the enemy's distant encampment, and he could instantaneously decide whether to retreat, advance, or simply delay. His subordinates were in awe of him. Did their leader possess mystical powers? The truth is, Napoleon's skills were not mystical, they were the outcome of a protracted and intense apprenticeship. During his time at military academy, he burned with ambition and shouldered significant responsibilities at a young age. Through years of rigorous study and constant practice, he meticulously refined his abilities. So, what's the law? There's no bypassing the apprenticeship phase. Even those who seem like natural geniuses most likely are not. Keep this in mind, and acknowledge that you'll assume the role of an apprentice many times in your life, especially when venturing into new skills or roles. Don't let the apprenticeship phase dismay you, embrace it. Absorb as much knowledge as possible. Gradually but surely, you'll navigate through it and transition to the next phase. March is dedicated to mastery. Following the apprenticeship phase, mastery takes center stage. However, it's essential to clarify that mastery is not a final destination. It's not a point where you arrive and conclude your journey. Instead, it's an ongoing process, a continuous practice, a perpetual state of being. Rather than achieving mastery, it might be more accurate to discuss maintaining mastery. In many respects, mastery is an extension of the apprenticeship phase, as even as a master, you must remain dedicated to learning, growing, and developing your skills. The only difference is that you're not apprenticed to a master. You're apprenticed to mastery itself, to the act of learning, the pursuit of mastery. The moment you cease learning is the moment you risk losing your hold on mastery. So, what's the primary law for March? Mastery is a process. Additionally, always strive to reach the inside. What does this mean? Consider learning any complex skill, such as playing the piano. Initially, you're on the outside. The piano consists of a set of black and white keys, and that's about all you know. You haven't yet mastered chords or scales. You're on the outside. The objective is to reach the inside. This involves navigating the demanding, tedious, slow process of mastering the fundamentals. This process may not always be enjoyable. It's often disorienting and frustrating. However, gradually, the piano ceases to be a chaotic array of keys. You begin to think in chords, no longer consciously considering where your fingers should go. You've entered the instrument, playing instinctively, comprehending it not from the outside in but from the inside out. This is what it means to get inside. And this description encapsulates mastery exceptionally well. Regardless of your endeavor, whether it's a sport, a writing project, or learning the piano, you must reach the inside. However, keep in mind that it's a continuous process. While you can get to the inside, there's always room to go deeper. There's always more to learn. A true master is never satisfied with their current state. Genuine masters perpetually pursue mastery, consistently striving to delve even further inside. April Preamble. Let's shift our focus this month. The past 3 months delved into the journey toward mastery. The upcoming 5 months, through August, will revolve around the pervasive game of power in both professional and personal spheres and how to navigate it. Let's begin. Main law for April. If there were just one law for April, it would be this: never outshine the master. Illustration. During Robert Greene's exploratory phase, before he authored the 48 Laws of Power, he worked as a researcher, unearthing captivating life stories for documentaries. At this juncture in his mid-20s, Greene was entirely oblivious to the world of power dynamics and office politics, the ongoing game of power. He had no inkling that such a game existed, and he paid a price for his naivety. Despite excelling at his job, being ambitious, friendly, and having outstanding ideas, Greene found himself at odds with his boss, who inexplicably seemed to harbor animosity toward him. In an attempt to mend this relationship, Greene intensified his efforts, engaging his boss more and involving her in the development of his ideas. Strangely, this approach backfired, exacerbating the problem. Ultimately, puzzled and frustrated, Greene chose to resign. Analysis. So, what went wrong for Greene? In essence, he outshone the master. His excessive hunger, ambition, and proficiency at his job made his boss feel threatened and triggered a violation of this month's law: don't outshine the master. Though challenging at the time, this experience proved beneficial for Greene in the long run. It shattered his naivety, transforming him into an astute observer and participant in the intricate game of power, a topic we'll delve into further in the next discussion. May's principle is concise and direct. The game of power is an ever-present reality. It is continuously in motion. You have 3 options in dealing with this reality: embrace it, deny it, or accept it. Embracing the game, truly reveling in it, can pose challenges. This refers to individuals akin to Machiavellis, those who derive satisfaction from manipulation and cunning, believing these are the sole tools necessary for navigating life. However, they often fail to comprehend that while people can indeed be power-hungry and manipulative, they can also exhibit empathy and cooperation. Failing to grasp this multifaceted nature means that committed Machiavellians typically struggle to maintain power, as they miss crucial aspects of the game. Denying the existence of the game also comes with drawbacks, particularly if your goal is to attain power. Regardless of whether you genuinely believe there is no game or find participating distasteful, complete non-participation eventually results in being sidelined. While some may be content with this outcome, especially if power and responsibility are not desired, it is a less favorable stance for those seeking influence. For those aspiring to power and responsibility, the most advantageous approach is acceptance. The desire for power is an intrinsic part of human nature, always has been, and always will be. You don't have to like it or dislike it, all that's required is acceptance. The game is ceaselessly in progress. With this acknowledgement, you can choose to observe from the sidelines at times or actively engage, leveraging your understanding of the game to enhance your position. Given that others are consistently participating in this game, it is wise to learn the rules and comprehend the laws of power. In summary, remember, the game of power is incessantly underway, and opting out is not an option. It is most beneficial to accept this reality. Suppose you have an aspiration for power, which is entirely reasonable and innate. What tools can aid you in achieving it? One invaluable skill is the art of deception. Officially, society frowns upon deception. Admirable individuals are forthright, candid, and honest. They speak the truth, irrespective of whether it serves their interests. Deception, it seems, is reserved for the dubious, the cowardly, and the con artists. At least, that's the commonly accepted stance. However, the reality of human interaction often hinges on deception, on bluffs, half-truths, and occasionally outright lies. If the pursuit of power is your goal, it's advantageous to recognize this reality and use it strategically. This doesn't mean you must constantly deceive others, but it does require a level of self-awareness. Deception is an integral aspect of the game. So, what does June's principle entail? Never unintentionally belittle someone's intelligence. Intelligence and ego are intricately connected. Consider how challenging it is to concede that someone else possesses superior intellect. It's not just about paying lip service to their intelligence, but genuinely acknowledging your intellectual inferiority and their intellectual superiority. Often, we immediately start creating justifications like, sure, she may have a PhD, but she's not that bright in day-to-day life, or, well, he had an expensive education, and if I had those opportunities. You get the idea. Intelligence is pivotal to people's self-perception, so it's ill-advised to make someone feel unintelligent. Such actions lead to resentment, and the individual will persist in believing they are more intelligent. Therefore, it is far more effective to employ deception. Even if you are aware of your intellectual superiority, it's prudent to make others feel that their intellect surpasses yours. This approach serves to disarm them, prompting them to lower their guard. Creating an environment where they perceive themselves as intellectually superior sets the stage for a scenario where obtaining what you seek, power, becomes more feasible. The principles in July and August share similarities. July revolves around seduction, while August centers on persuasion. Both of these skills are pivotal in the intricate game of power. Power manifests in diverse ways, with some forms being more subtle than others. Often, we tend to envision power as sheer force, overlooking its nuanced manifestations. The ability to allure and captivate people, to kindle their interest, essentially, the power to seduce and persuade, is a formidable force, arguably as potent as the ability to intimidate or suppress, yet usually more efficacious. Convincing someone to align with your cause surpasses coercing them into compliance. So, what are the crucial principles for excelling in the arts of seduction and persuasion? In the realm of seduction, a valuable tactic is the art of delaying satisfaction. Here, we draw insights from the figure of the coquette. A coquette, a flirt, possesses the knack for enthralling individuals while simultaneously keeping them at a distance. She seemingly withholds satisfaction, whether in the form of intimacy, attention, or affection, only to playfully thwart the hopes of her admirers by whimsically changing her mind. She understands that attraction flourishes when left unsatisfied, and maintaining a certain aloofness is often the most effective way to allure. Turning to the art of persuasion, let's revisit the historical figure of Napoleon. Much like a coquette keeps her suitors on the edge, promising satisfaction but never quite delivering, Napoleon, a masterful manager of men, held his subordinates in suspense. His technique involved a shrewd use of reward and punishment to influence behavior. He sparingly rebuked individuals, but when he did, the rarity of his rebukes amplified their impact. Similarly, he infrequently bestowed praise or promotions, reserving such accolades exclusively for merit-based achievements. The scarcity of these rewards intensified their value. The outcome of this approach was striking. Napoleon commanded millions of young men, initially lacking discipline and military prowess, and transformed them into a highly potent and effective army. Therefore, the central law for August is clear: keep those you wish to influence in suspense. Additionally, the principle of delaying satisfaction remains crucial. The longer someone waits for something, the greater their desire for it becomes. September, October, and November life often resembles a battlefield, besieged by struggles, difficulties, trials, and tribulations. At times, just navigating day-to-day challenges can feel more demanding than our strength allows. That's why it's crucial to rise above the petty skirmishes of each day, adopting a higher and broader perspective, a vantage point from which the daily battles appear smaller and more manageable. This elevated perspective involves strategic thinking, aligning with our long-term goals and deepest convictions. Without this elevation, we risk getting stuck in tactical hell, entangled in trivialities, and reacting impulsively to every stressor life presents. Consider quarreling couples trapped in tactical hell, engrossed in winning each skirmish and proving themselves right, all the while neglecting the lasting damage to their relationship. Instead of adopting a higher perspective, they become mired in the bitter present. The way out involves taking a step back and gaining some detachment. Ask yourself, must I be entangled in this battle, or can I adopt another, higher perspective? This encapsulates September's principle: take an elevated view of life. October's law aligns with this concept by urging us to connect with our negative emotions, like fear or anger, but with an emphasis on analyzing rather than dwelling on them. It encourages a thoughtful approach to understanding and managing these emotions. One practical way to achieve this is embodied in November's law: taking a step back. When drawn into an emotional whirlpool, refrain from immediate reactions. Pause before responding to that text or writing that email. The more you practice this restraint, the easier it becomes, akin to strengthening a muscle. By resisting the pull of draining yet inconsequential situations, you reserve your time for matters of genuine importance. December. In this final reflection, we delve deeper into the themes discussed previously. What truly matters in life? How should you invest your precious time? If not engaged in squabbles or battles, how should you spend the spare moments life offers? Consider elevating your appreciation for life, intensifying your sense of awe at the grandeur of the universe, and reflecting on the good fortune of existing within it. Often, our minds get entangled in mundane and uninspiring thoughts about bills, chores, and reputations. But what if a conscious effort were made to focus on grander things: the limitlessness of time and space, the eons of evolution that led to our existence, and the incredible power and complexity of the human mind? The author terms this magnificence the cosmic sublime, the awe-inspiring beauty of the universe. Life becomes much richer when attuned to this beauty, rather than being absorbed in the media's fanfare and the cyclical narratives of celebrities. A notable exemplar of this approach is the writer Virginia Woolf. At 23, after the deaths of her mother, father, and closest stepsister, Woolf returned to her family's seaside cottage. The solitude of the empty house and the persistent sound of waves prompted a profound realization of the inescapable passage of time. Listening to the waves, Woolf felt a connection to the infinite, sensing the antiquity and perpetuity of the sea. Over the next 3 decades, she revisited the same spot repeatedly and eventually encapsulated her experience of the cosmic sublime in the novel, To the Lighthouse, a challenging yet breathtakingly beautiful work. While the majority of these reflections focused on the game of power and strategies for effective engagement, it's imperative to take a step back and recognize that the game, although always in play, is a human invention. In the best-case scenario, it may lead to a breakthrough, a creative masterpiece akin to Woolf's novel. At the very least, it provides a moment of refreshment for the next round. Final summary: the journey through the daily laws offers a roadmap toward mastery and effective navigation of the game of power in the modern world. 1. Identify your life task. Begin by discovering your life task, the pursuit that resonates with your true calling. 2. Apprenticeship phase. Embrace the necessary apprenticeship phase. There's no shortcut to mastery. 3. Mastery is a process. Understand that mastery is an ongoing process, not a final destination. Moving into the dynamics of power. 1. Never outshine the master. Be mindful not to overshadow those in positions of power. 2. Game of power is constant. Recognize that the game of power is incessantly played, and opting out is not an option. 3. Deception as a tool. Acknowledge the role of deception in the game, both in others and in oneself. Exploring further tools in the power game. 1. Seduction and persuasion. Master the arts of seduction through delaying satisfaction and persuasion by keeping others in suspense. 2. Elevate your perspective. Rise above tactical hell by adopting an elevated perspective, focusing on long-term goals. 3. Analyze negative emotions. Understand and analyze negative emotions rather than getting entangled in them. 4. Take a step back. Practice the art of stepping back to avoid impulsive reactions. Concluding with a broader perspective. 1. Cosmic sublime. Connect with the grandeur of the universe for a richer appreciation of life. 2. Refresh for the next round. Remember that the game, though ever present, is a human invention. Whether it results in a creative breakthrough or simply leaves you refreshed, it prepares you for the ongoing game of power. Embark on this enriching journey of knowledge and inspiration with us. If the insights we've shared have sparked your curiosity and you crave more wisdom from impactful books, we invite you to champion our channel. Surprisingly, a considerable number of our fellow explorers haven't subscribed yet, so we warmly invite you to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. This ensures you stay connected with one of the foremost book summary channels online. Subscribing guarantees a constant flow of uplifting and thought-provoking summaries, keeping you engaged and inspired. Your support is not just appreciated, it's the cornerstone of our mission. In return, we commit to delivering consistently high-quality book summaries promptly. Let's persevere in this quest for growth and enlightenment together. Here's to joyful reading, continuous learning, and ongoing personal development.